Today we're talking about Azure's new Multiparty Private Offers, or MPO. This is going to affect all partners worldwide and from various industries and perspectives. And I'm going to talk through who we have on the call here today. Jason is Director of Product Marketing in Microsoft's Marketplace and ISV Journey organization. Jason is known for building strategies that drive innovation around ISVs and how ISVs can work with customers to accelerate revenue growth. As you will hear, he is focusing considerable attention on multi-party private offers, where customers benefit from ISVs, service providers and integrators, resellers and distributors, and all partners that they might need to work with, working together to deliver more comprehensive value. We also have Nick Monfreda, is Vice President of Managed and Strategic Services at CSPI Technology Solutions. Nick has seen it all with 25 years of technology experience, looking through the lens of a CSP, partnering with Microsoft and Fortinet, bringing together technology solutions during a time the world has undergone some of the most radical IT changes and challenges we've ever seen. Brad Lundberg. Brad is Director of Global Alliances and Sales at Fortinet. Brad has innovated sales and licensing everywhere he's been by focusing on how customers buy. At Logitech, Microsoft, and now Fortinet, Brad has blazed new approaches to focusing not only on the customers, but how innovative approaches can impact licensing, sellers' incentives, the processes for delivering those, and accelerating getting to revenue for all parties involved. And obviously, for focusing on customer value. Let's start off with Jason, because most of you who are watching are probably dying to hear multi-party private offers, or MPOs, will accelerate the use of Marketplace as a preferred method for purchasing and engaging with customers. And of course, how you can participate. So Jason, before we jump into how MPO works, can you discuss the opportunity a bit?
Sure, Neil. I think when we look at the opportunity, I think a channel partner should maybe think about what's happening with customers first. We see this kind of staggering rush to marketplace transactions, and that's because customers are shifting to modern procurement. They want kind of higher transaction velocity, lower friction. They want a digital experience. They want agility in the way they govern applications. And in many cases, they want to use kind of cloud consumption credits to make those purchases. And what we see is ISVs that are running just as fast as those partners are towards marketplaces. And ISVs are doing it because they want to drive cost out of their business, and they want to tap into the modern procurement motion. And they also like the idea of customers using their cloud consumption credits to purchase those applications. And I think what channel partners see is the opportunity to plug into both of those kind of accelerations to marketplace. When you look at Microsoft specifically from the lens of a channel partner, I think what you see is, 1 billion customers that are using Azure and M365. They're tuned into our storefronts. There's thousands of applications within those storefronts that you as a channel partner can go sell. And then you also have this interesting, highly engaged Microsoft field sales force that's excited to see you sell those applications through Marketplace.
Wow, that is really exciting. It'll be great for our partners to hear just what multi-party private offers are and how they work.
Sure. If you think about the motion, the part of it is very similar to the way that you've always sold in the past, especially if you think about how you've sold with Fortinet in particular, right? So you've worked with your customer, you identify an opportunity, then you contact Fortinet, you kind of scope out what that opportunity looks like for the customer. What are you going to solve? What's the pricing, the deal going to look like? But then in this case, you probably have a conversation with the customer and they tell you, hey, I've got a cloud commitment with Microsoft. And wow, this is an opportunity for me to sell this application through this multi-party private offer mechanism, which enables any channel partner to sell an ISV app into a Microsoft enterprise customer. So at that point, you work with Fortinet and you construct the deal. Fortinet creates a private offer. They extend that through Marketplace to you within Microsoft Partner Center. You go into Microsoft Partner Center, you take that offer, you add some additional things to it, like maybe some additional terms. Probably you're going to mark it up because you want to earn some margin on this Fortinet deal. You then extended that offer through Partner Center into the customer's Azure portal. You can send them a link saying, hey, I've got an offer for you. They'll also see it pop up in their Azure portal. They'll click and they'll accept the offer. At that point, they're making the purchase. Now, Microsoft, in this case, will invoice that customer. And so Microsoft will invoice them against their MCA agreement or the enterprise agreement. If they do have that MAC, it will decrement their MAC at 100% of the purchase price to the customer. Microsoft, again, invoices, we collect, and then we pay you out your portion of the deal, and then we pay out Fortinet their portion of the deal.
Wow, that is fantastic. That is really progressed how Marketplace plays a role in the purchasing process. So how many partners are doing this today? I mean, and how many do you want to get to in the future?
Well, we launched Multiparty Private Offer, MPO, in July. It's been very exciting so far. We now have over 100 partners that are participating in MPO transactions. They're MPO enrolled. I think what's exciting about this, though, is the types of deals and the types of channel partners that we're starting to see engage with enterprise customers to sell ISV apps, right? So it's all types of different partners. It's systems integrators, it's managed service providers, it's VARs. They're all participating. And some of the deals are getting to be quite large. And when that happens, what also is starting to happen is the Microsoft field sellers are starting to really pay attention to these. So if you're a channel partner and you've sold Fortinet for years, but you've never had kind of that great relationship with Microsoft, you've had a relationship, it's not been the one you wanted. I think today this motion opens up the door for you to have a different dialogue with your contacts at Microsoft as well. So it's exciting, it's a lot of fun, but it's really interesting to see just how this is changing transactions and relationships with channel partners.
Wow, that is really eye-opening. So you mentioned ISVs a couple of times. We happen to have Brad Lundberg here from Fortinet, and Brad also has a lot of channel experience. So, Brad, talk us through how do we get there? What is Fortinet doing to support marketplace deals and to support partners like CSPI to ensure these deals are a success?
I think Fortinet, like Microsoft, really relies on its channel. We both have very robust channel ecosystems. And so I think bringing together both of our ecosystems and you all out there, and if you're not part of the ecosystem, it absolutely is easy to get on board. And I know Jason will talk a little bit about that. And it's very easy on the Fortinet side. So, yeah, I think overall, because of that, for Fortinet, we're one of the early marketplace partners for Microsoft. We've actually really successfully, brought in the self-service motion early on. Now that Microsoft has really, really kicked in on the private offer motion, and this is really kind of the opportunity, I think, for the MPO partners, custom pricing, custom deals. We are really looking forward. Our biggest bet this year is going to be scale through partners through MPO.
Wow. This is really something. So, Nick, let's talk to you. You're a service provider, a CSP, and your organization is obviously juggling the needs of thousands of customers, but also trying to incorporate thousands of products and technologies. How easy is it for onboarding for your team with both Microsoft and Fortinet as a CSP?
It was relatively easy. I mean, we joined the Microsoft bandwagon 25 years ago when we were deploying on-premise solutions. And when cloud adoption picked up, we were early adopters of that, moving customers over to cloud consumption. We've been a Fortinet partner for almost 15 years. And when the opportunity was presented to us, to transact in Marketplace, it just made sense for us to bridge the two together. We've made significant investments in both partnerships. It was easy to get set up in Marketplace. In fact, we were already a Marketplace partner with some of our own assessment offerings. So for us, it was clicking a few buttons and Once the opportunity was presented, I mean, we were able to price out and transact within a day or two. So we're excited about the opportunity. We have a big bet as well to continue to scale that business. Consumption models continue to evolve, and if we can give customers the ability to transact in a single platform and bring multiple vendors together and, deliver extended value, then, the sky's the limit, in my opinion.
So, Nick, I understand that you were the first Fortinet partner to transact an MPO deal. Could you tell us a little bit about what it was like for your organization and what it was like for the customers who were engaged?
Sure, Neil. Yeah. We had an opportunity with an enterprise customer who had just signed a very large MAC commitment with Microsoft. We also were simultaneously working on a very large or semi-large Fortinet transaction that needed to happen before year end. And when we were presented with the fact that we could now transact an MPO, we said, hey, how do we marry these two together and give the customer some additional benefit and also draw down on the MAC? And that's basically how it started. So we were able to decrease time to sale. We were able to maintain our margins, and we were able to present the customer with the offer, and they transacted in a couple clicks. And within, I think, 30 days, we got a report from Microsoft with our margin.
Wow. And the customer must have been excited that they were able to decrement some of their Azure commitment with your services.
They were very happy, and it actually got a little buzz around their organization because they started to ask what other items can they consume Fortinet through the same process. So hopefully it's creating some additional pipeline that all three of our organizations can benefit from.
So Jason, this all sounds so great. What does a partner have to do to participate in MPO?
We actually, that's an interesting question, Neil. We actually set the bar very low for partners to participate in MPO. You really just need an NPN ID. So you have to be a member of the Microsoft AI Cloud Partner Program. You don't need an advanced specialization or certification. Once you have that NPN ID, you do need to do a little bit of work within Partner Center. You need to go into Partner Center and you need to enroll in the marketplace. When you enroll in the marketplace, it'll open up a new section of Partner Center for you where you get what we call a seller ID, which is new to some channel partners that haven't participated in marketplace with us. And once you have that ID, then you create your tax and payment profile. So, hey, where are we going to send the check and how are we going to handle the taxes? And then finally, you need to submit what's called a resale certification or resale certificate, so we know how those taxes really should work, and we can verify that. The process does take a couple of days because there's some validation, around the bank account and the tax certification as well. So I do always tell partners that you should do this early. You should do it now if you're interested, but don't wait till the 11th hour of a deal, because you don't want that, time kills all deals, I believe, as Nick mentioned earlier. And that's important that you get this done ahead of time. But that's it. Once you're through the process, then you're ready to go with your first multi-party private offer.
Wow, it doesn't get better than that. Well, okay, that's a fantastic foundation for what is MPO, how does it work, and some examples. Let's talk about a couple of things that weren't mentioned. As an organization that works with a lot of rollouts of new products and new services and programs, we know that often the field teams are coin operated, or they're more successful when their compensation is tied to the things that we're trying to drive. What changes or what efforts did you need to put in place, Brad, to really make this something that Fortinet focuses on?
We've done a lot of things internally in terms of our systems, kind of really aligning those to our kind of standard, two-tier distribution model in a way that we can get our reps compensated exactly the same way. So by removing the blocker where, a rep, it really doesn't matter whether they sell, how they sell it, they will get paid. And as we know, compensation drives behavior. So we're really excited about that, and we've really seen the results here since we've really launched the private offer motion with the MPO motion.
Great. Yep. Nick, tell us a little bit about it from a services side.
From a compensation perspective, yeah, I mean, commission is king when you're in a sales organization or in a sales role. So, most sales reps are coin operated, so it's very beneficial to them. It gives them another tool in their belt that they can pull out and talk to customers about. As an organization, it benefits us financially because we don't have to carry the receivable on the transaction, right? Microsoft makes it really simple. They pay us our margin, they pay Fortinet for the transaction, and they go and collect the money from the customer. So, as I mentioned before, it's a win-win-win for all three parties.
Gotta love it. So, Jason, I know we've been talking about it from a partner's perspective, but Microsoft is making some compensation changes and has focused on really making Azure a big part of what everybody does. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing with the field.
Yeah, I think the big thing in relation to this conversation is, in July we did announce some changes to the way that we handle IP co-sell at Microsoft. So, our field is laser focused on getting these ISVs that, run on Azure, sell jointly with our field sales force, getting those ISVs sold through Marketplace. So, in FY24 for us and beyond, they'll be even tighter aligned to this motion where a channel partner gets together with an ISV like Fortinet and they transact these deals into a customer and they help that customer get deployed, use more of the ISV's application, if you will, more Microsoft services, and then, very specifically to this conversation, help to, consume some of those Azure consumption commitments they've made.
Nick, as a services organization, tell us a little bit about what you're experiencing in relation to compensation.
So for us, I mean, services and sales, reps are coin operated, right? Client managers and client executives, they're coin operated, and for them, it's all about the margin that you maintain. What's exciting for us is we now have a situation where we've got multiple parties involved in a transaction, and we all appear to have alignment on compensation and compensation strategy. There's no conflict between the Fortinet and Microsoft and CSPI representatives on who's going to get paid commission and who gets cut out of a deal. So we've got great alignment between the three organizations. It's transparent to the customer. We don't have to get involved with the customer on any commission-related items because that can always kill a deal. So, I mean, for us, it's a win-win-win for all three organizations.
So another thing that we danced around, but we haven't fully talked about yet is timing. It seems that working with Marketplace as the means of transacting, there's a lot of value to the customer, but there's also a lot of value to the partner. Talk a little bit about timing and how maybe this is bringing you, faster time to revenue or faster time to value for your customers.
I mean, I think, if we go back to what Jason said earlier, it's a modern procurement motion. And just by virtue of that, it's quicker than what the standard channel kind of model is. It also is just a great customer experience for whether it's a commit agreement. But more importantly, I think time comes from, I mentioned earlier, scale through partners. So when you have relationships that exist with partners like Nick, they're right there, where we're not always there, basically representing solutions that can help customers, through Fortinet products. And so being able to have that extension through MPO partners, again, like CSPI and Nick, is just a wonderful story and something that we fully embrace.
Fantastic. Nick, why don't you tell us a little bit about timing and what it's doing for your organization?
I mean, for us, it just makes us recognize our margin a lot faster, right? We still have to go through the process of architecting solutions for the customers, which takes a lot of time in some cases. A lot of pre-sales efforts goes into that. once the deal is created by, Fortinet marketplace team, it's submitted to us. We can get it submitted to the customer within minutes. It accelerates their supply chain process and gets the orders done a lot quicker. Where traditional procurement, as we all know, can take a lot of time and effort and just slows deals down. In some cases, kills deals because they can never get the approvals done that they need. Marketplace gives them that consumer experience that they really want. They want to execute now and they want to execute as fast as possible.
And how about you, Jason? Any thoughts on timing from a Microsoft perspective?
I would echo Nick and Brad on this, right? It's really about deal velocity, and deal velocity, it happens when either the procurement experience is really smooth, or in some cases where you almost feels like you bypass procurement, right? So, and we hear from both channel partners and ISVs that happens quite often, right? So I think everybody enjoys that deal velocity. Our sellers certainly do. They love it when channel partners come to them and they say, I've got this Fortinet deal. Can you help me? And the request for help is really just, hey, can you help that customer understand how they're going to accept this offer in the Azure portal, right? As opposed to kind of some of the traditional deal slogging that we might have to do. So I think it benefits everyone.
And I think it has to be obvious that across the board, having Microsoft's name attached to the deal just makes it simpler, easier, and faster. So Brad, it sounds like it's pretty easy and pretty straightforward. And any partner, if you're a Microsoft partner, how does it work on the Fortinet side?
From a Fortinet perspective, we just simply ask that any partner that's interested in transacting on Azure through MPO with Fortinet, the partner become at a minimum what we call an advocate partner. And we have very easy information that's accessible on our public website, on our channel website, and then we'll make that available at the end of the webinar here.
So what I'm hearing is there's really no barrier from a Microsoft perspective, and there's no barrier from a Fortinet perspective.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And like I said, I both Microsoft and Fortinet are completely vested, and we've kind of on our side built in almost an easy button. And so, we'll be happy to help navigate any partner through that whole MPO process.
Well, great, guys. This has been pretty straightforward. Brad, is there anything you'd like to tell us about investments that Fortinet is making to make this, to support this, or to make this easier or better for partners, and to really drive your relationship with Microsoft?
Yeah, Microsoft has made some joint investments with us as a big and key marketplace partner. I'd like to call out one specific program called Azure Sponsorships. Effectively, that is a program where we can offer free Azure credits where the partner and the customer have an intent to buy through Marketplace. And we can kind of work with that partner both from an assessment, POC, through deployment, depending on what the situation is. And so very simple process just to reach out to Fortinet to access those credits.
Great. Well, it seems pretty straightforward. Now we know what MPOs are. We know why they're important. We understand why customers care about them, and why most partners should care about them. So, Jason, is there any additional resources that we can talk about here, or we can post here that will help people get started?
I think there's probably two primary resources. One, there's a fairly rich onboarding guide. I think we'll have that in the webinar follow-up. Also, for a channel partner that gets stuck, or even if just as you start the onboarding process for MPO, there's a concierge service. You can reach them at channelready@microsoft.com, and they'll get right back to you to help you through the process and get you ready to sell your first Fortinet deal.
Great. Well, thank you, gentlemen. This has been an eye-opening experience, and I hope all the partners that are watching are just as excited as you guys are about this new MPO plan, and we're going to see lots of revenue.